coaches ain't 100%. Nobody's 100% this time of year, so, but he'd be ready to play, I'll tell you that.
For a guy who obviously has as much natural ability as anybody that you've had through here, how has he kind of developed throughout this year? Kind of, his role's been bigger, his impact has been
Dexter?
bigger. Yeah.
He's just a smart player. I mean, he's a very conscientious player. I think, watching him grow as a teammate, he's become a leader because he's kind of a quiet, soft-spoken guy, as y'all know, but he's really asserted himself more, and he's just and then just his will, because he had to battle through some injuries and surgery and all that stuff, and hasn't been 100%, really all year, but he's still been incredibly productive and effective. I promise you, everybody we play, they notice him. He's just a very disciplined player. Sometimes he's making plays that he doesn't show up in the stat column, but just because of his presence and what he brings with his effort, he's a problem. And so it creates other opportunities for people. So, because I mean, when you play close to the ball and you're disruptive, everything starts from the inside out. Everything. And we're, when you're strong down the middle, you got a chance. It's like in baseball, and that's what he gives us, that anchor on that ball.
Jeff was saying yesterday that he thought that the Auburn game was so constructive in Kelly's development. What, if anything, do you see in Kelly now that you might not have seen in his decision-making or anything before those experiences?
Well, I just think just confidence is the biggest thing. I mean, I can't remember who we played first. Kent State. There we go. That he played great. He played flawless in that game, but he wasn't going to get any credit for that game. Just a game that we got control of quick, and really not a lot of pressure on him. But other than the fact that would he transition from the practice field to that game, to the stadium in that environment, and he did. But then it was okay. Auburn's got an unbelievable defense, as we know. How's he going to handle that? Is he going to be able to make the plays that you have to make in competitive games like that? And he made some big-time throws in that Auburn game, big time. And so I think because of that, his confidence just really started to emerge. I mean, he's a young player. I mean, he's a new player. He's a veteran guy, but a new player. And so, again, there's no greater teacher than confidence. Than experience, and especially good experience to build your confidence. And that's what came from the Auburn game. What? Hey, man, I can do this, and then we just kind of took it from there, So I didn't know. I told y'all I don't know. We're going into the game. I said, I've seen him in practice, but we're going to find out because he's earned the opportunity to go be the guy. But you can't just earn it in practice. You got to earn it on the game field too. And we're fixing to find out a lot about this kid. And I think his confidence, his maturity, his leadership, everything, his ability to impact those other guys around him like great quarterbacks do. I think all of those are things that came out of that game that he carried over, and I think it's built all year long. And then when all of a sudden, it had a couple games where had a little lull, we didn't finish on some plays, he missed a few plays. That's just part of it too. How do you respond to that? He's responded great. So I'm just really proud of him.
Back to Higgins for a second. You guys put him in the slot for his couple big plays there against South Carolina. How much freedom does that give you to be creative as a staff with formations and mismatches because of his unique skill set here late in the year?
Yeah, just really felt like going into that game that we could create some matchup problems with him because of his confidence and something we had not shown. And, they put a little guy on him, and it was, we knew we were going to get a lot of man coverage. That's just what they do. And, it just comes down to your guy's better than their guy or their guy's better than your guy. And, as soon as we As soon as we lined up, we knew we were going to have an opportunity, and Kelly made a great throw, and he did a great job with his release technique. We set the hitch down outside, and it gives you, when he's 6'5", I mean, and he can run, and now he's starting to get some confidence. So he'll be a guy that'll be a factor for us for sure moving forward.
I know you said the trenches is kind of where games are won. Does the fact that you guys had, I think, 6 linemen named first team All ACC kind of speak to that? I imagine you're pretty proud of that.
Yeah. I don't even know who all's made All ACC, but I'm very proud of that. I mean, they're well deserving. All those guys back, and how about Falcinelli? How about that kid? He probably didn't make it, but he was a guy that. Oh, there you go. There you go. He made it. Who's first team? Falcinelli? Holy cow! I didn't even read it. I'm a little backed up on my emails. All right. Well, I better read that for the team meeting today. Well, there you go. Falcinelli. I mean, you talk about a guy that has stepped up for this team. I think you were asking me a question coming into, we lost a great center in Jay Guillermo, and here's a kid that's ain't easy to do what he's done now, and has played very, very well for us. But all those guys, man, I love that offensive line. I mean, and the flexibility that we play guys. I don't even pay any attention. I really don't. Robbie just plays them. I mean, we got probably 8 guys that have played starter snaps for us in the offensive line. Tremaine started at right. He started at left. He's played all over. Pollard's played right. We've practiced him at guard. I don't think he's gotten in at guard yet in a game, but we've played him at guard in practice. Simpson's played both guards. Just a lot of Hearns played left tackle. A lot of Mavericks played everywhere. Just a lot of flexibility in that group. So I'm really proud of those guys and very well deserving for their honors. I guess I better go read my email.
Coach, you talked. I'm sorry. You talked about how good the running game has been this season. Tony Elliott was named Broyles Award finalist yesterday. You spoke and told the story about the moving story about bringing him onto the staff. You have to love seeing him get that recognition.
No question. And it's unfortunate. I wanted to nominate. I had 3 guys I wanted to nominate, but Tim said we could only nominate 1, and Brent won it last year, so he wasn't eligible, but. Really happy for Tony. Very, very much well deserved, and Tony's just he's like a little brother to me, and just really, really proud of him and the job that he's done for us. Just a tireless worker, and Jeff's the same way. Jeff has just done an unbelievable job. The 2 of those guys have been awesome. Really, all of our staff. I mean, I just love all these guys. They're fun to come to work with every day.
How would you describe the pressures on someone who had to replace or step in, follow a player like Deshaun Watson? And how did Kelly process and all that?
Yeah, it is a lot of pressure that comes with that because, again, that's all people talk about. All people talked about all spring was Deshaun. It was like, where's he going to get drafted, and then where he got drafted, and then when people start focusing on this team, they focus on, oh my God, they lost this, they lost that, they lost this, they lost that, and then it was you start looking at recruiting, and you're like, well, this guy, okay, it was what position is he going to play because he's not going to be the quarterback because that's just not the way it's supposed to be. This guy's going to be the quarterback. But you forget you got to earn those things, or at least you do here. And so a lot of pressure on him. And I think early on, right at the beginning of spring, I think it was kind of, first time to be the guy and have to kind of go out there and assert himself that way. I think that was a little different for him. But finally, I just told him, I said, listen, I didn't recruit you to be Deshaun Watson. I recruited you to be Kelly Bryant. I mean, that's why we recruited you, offered you a scholarship, because we felt like you had a skill set to help us be a great quarterback here and help us have a great offense. I just need you to be who you are. Don't worry about, anything else. And I just think he's really embraced that, and that's been his focus all along. And he just kind of, got better and better, and it was going to be and then just I think he just embraced the competition because it was very competitive this spring, but he separated. I mean, he clearly was the guy that gave us the best chance this spring. If we had to go play, I mean, and that's all you can go on. You can't go on what people think or potential or whatever. What happened? That's if you're gonna maintain structure and order within a football program, that's the way it's got to be. And so then it was like, all right, well, here's where we are, but it's. How's it going to play out? I don't know. We got a long way to go. And then we got into camp, again, very competitive, and he just kind of separated. And it was obvious. Hey, this kid's got an opportunity to go be the guy. So now it was like, well, how's he going to do in the games? And he's answered every test, and I think he's just grown into really being a good quarterback, but just being comfortable with who he is. And he's had fun with it.
Past couple of Power 5 quarterbacks you played, y'all held them to about 45% completion, and I think it's 160 yards a game. Malik Razier's struggled his past 4 games, but how does he compare to Jake Bentley and James Blackman? He's different than Blackman. He's different than Bentley too. He's a guy that they're going to run. I mean, he's a real threat running the football. He's a guy that looks to run. I mean, they're going to design runs for him. They're going to run the midline with him. They're going to boot him. They're going to get him on the edge. He creates plays off of scrambles when the pocket breaks down. He's made a lot of big plays with his legs. So that's a